This show is going to be continuously about things that we already knew, but are now coming to light. When it comes to COVID, we can look at this recently released statement and updated guidelines from the Center for Disease Control. This is out of CBS News. I use CBS News to show you I do read more than just the Daily Wire, the New York Post, and conservative media. No, the CBS News. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention announced Friday, just 2 days ago, that it would wind down much of its remaining guidance specifically targeted at COVID-19, including an official end to a pandemic era plea for Americans to stay home for 5 days after testing positive. The agency cited improvements in the rates of hospitalizations and deaths inflicted by the virus this past season for the change in its recommendations, saying, quote, COVID-19 remains an important public health threat. Remember that. The start of this is COVID-19 remains an important public health threat, but it is no longer the emergency that it once was, and its health impacts increasingly resemble those of other respiratory viral illnesses. Oh my gosh! The agency said this in a Friday report, justifying its decision. Instead of offering recommendations specific to COVID-19, the agency said it would switch to offering, quote, a unified, practical approach to addressing risk from the virus alongside influenza and respiratory sorry, I don't know exactly how to pronounce this word. RSV. I know what that's the acronym for it. So here's what I'm hearing. Remember, back around when COVID started, around that time, yeah, there was a lot of confusion, but a lot of people, Unifier, great to see you. Thank you for joining, and Progressive American. Thank you guys. But remember, around back then, when we had all these people saying, and when I say all these people, we had people that were like quietly being like, hey, it seems like a lot of the issues with COVID are very similar to like the flu or maybe some other respiratory illnesses. And also the death rate for them are somewhat comparable. The only people that seem to be at an increased risk are those of an older age or of a certain weight. And then you were told that you were spreading misinformation and that you were going to kill grandma. If you said, hey, maybe we're going overboard, maybe people were just like doing a little too much and we should actually like, slow down a little bit and consider what we're doing. You're going to kill grandma. You're going to kill grandma. That's what they said. What's changed? I think that's what we should consider. We now have the CDC basically coming out just on Friday. 4 years. This is almost exactly 4 years from when many states, including my home state of Illinois, shut down, locked down. We heard the 2 weeks to slow the spread, all that kind of crap. And then 2 weeks turned into 2 months, turned into 2 years. And now they're saying it's basically just like the flu. What changed? Now, you might have some lefties who watch and say, well, we have the vaccine and almost everybody's vaccinated. Okay, but here's the thing. I can tell you the chances that people kept getting these boosters that were supposed to do everything goes down and down and down. I haven't gotten a booster. I got the one, I'll admit to everybody out there, and you can shame me if you want to. I feel ashamed of it. I got the one shot to stay in compliance with my school so I could stay in school. It was like, felt like a gun to my head. It was a shot to my arm. And so I did. But I didn't get anything after that. I did what I had to do for the compliance. So even to say that, well, we have the vaccine, so everybody's safe now. Along with that, I mean, it's been proven that all the vaccine did was dampen your personal effects. It didn't stop spread, didn't stop anybody else from getting it. It didn't even fully necessarily get rid of your symptoms. It just made them not as bad. So I ask again, what changed? CDC, what changed? Why now? When it seems like very, very little has actually changed in terms of the virus, and we haven't really done anything else. Why now can we start treating it like influenza and any other respiratory illness? Why now? I asked that rhetorically because I know the answer. Because I didn't see this be front page news. I remember when states were shut down for COVID, that was front page news. I remember when we first started easing restrictions, that was front page news. Actually, front page news for basically about 2 years was all about COVID. Everything was about COVID. All starting in the election year. Maybe that's what changed. Could that be it? Could it be that the reason why it's not front page news that COVID is now just like any other respiratory illness and that you didn't hear about it, that it's an election year? Nobody's going to talk about it. It's not that big of a deal anymore. It's 2024. COVID's done. Joe Biden is president. And they want Joe Biden to win. Along with this, another thing that was not making headline news and ties directly into that is the vaccine. Now, this was just about 2-ish weeks ago, and I didn't cover a lot of other things that I was talking about. You might have, I don't know if you just heard the ad that's playing. Vaccine. Again, another thing pretty much all of us already knew. But while we were told vaccine is safe and effective, the vaccine is safe and effective, the vaccine is safe and effective, the vaccine is safe and effective, you heard it on every single news channel all day, every day when it came out. The vaccine is safe and effective, the vaccine is safe and effective. And then you had maybe just a few people in the back that were like, hey, just like with COVID, hey, it seems like this vaccine was kind of almost maybe a little rushed. And I was already questioning COVID because, like, I probably am not going to die from COVID. And so, like, I don't really want to inject some, like, random chemicals into my body when, like, the virus probably won't kill me. Like, I don't know enough about this vaccine, and I'm not really trusting a lot of my sources because they're also telling me that COVID's going to kill me, but I know that it's not. So I don't really trust all this stuff. Can I, like, maybe not take it? No. You're going to get fired from your job. You're going to get kicked out of school. You're going to lose your life. You're not going to be able to fly on a plane. You're not going to be able to do anything. Your family's going to hate you. And guess what? You're still going to kill grandma. Well, guess I need to take that vaccine. Because otherwise my life's over. Well, here's the thing. The vaccine is safe and effective. The vaccine is safe and effective. The vaccine is safe and effective. I've already shown, and you can go find it yourself. Vaccine isn't as effective as they sold it on the first day. They consistently move the goalposts and walk that back. And now, while many of us already kind of knew, it's not really safe either, or not entirely safe, not as safe as they made it seem. So take a look and listen to this clip in which even Bloomberg News admits that there's issues. But this was only 2 weeks ago. I want to remind everybody, this only came out 2 weeks ago. What we've known basically for 2 years, and he even admits that in this, is something that just is now like being mainstream talk 2 weeks ago. Take a look and listen.
How widespread the adverse event reporting has been. Talk us through what the findings were.
Yeah, so these findings are not really at all surprising. We've known about these side effects really since the vaccines began rolling out at the end of 2020, early 2021. We've seen this myocarditis, inflammation of the heart muscle, pericarditis, inflammation of the sac around the heart, as well as this unusual blood clot that forms in the brain from the virus vector vaccine. So none of these findings are new, but they are actually fairly reassuring because they didn't find anything else that was at all alarming, Heidi.
Wait. So a few things with this. Notice how they're just like kind of pretending like, no, this is nothing new. This is nothing new. Because I remember, I'm old enough to remember that when the vaccine was first rolling out and people were like, and there was like one study or two studies, three, like there's just a few studies that were like, hey, maybe this causes inflammation of the heart. And again, there was people like me that were off in the corner that was like, maybe we should actually like take a step back and think about this for a second. Conspiracy theorists, censored, blocked, kicked off. I have actually had videos. This was just like a year ago. I only started streaming on this YouTube channel like a year ago. And I've had videos that have been taken off for claims of misinformation when all I said was basically this exact stuff, that maybe this stuff is unsafe. Maybe. And now he comes out and he's just like, no, this is all stuff we've already known. And actually, this is good news, because what we learned is there's actually nothing else. Just like that you could die from these few things, but it's like it doesn't kill, it doesn't do anything else. And so we didn't know that it didn't do anything else. That's like what we're actually learning from this guy right now. That no. So you know all those things you got censored for? Yeah, no. So those were actually true, but it's okay. We kind of knew that too. We just didn't want other people to know, and we really didn't know the other issues that could be wrong with this. But good news, there are no other issues. We got lucky. Who is running this country? Who is running the world? Because it's not somebody who's sane. It's not somebody who's transparent. And I can tell you, the media is in bed with